This is the Chefpreneur podcast, where we inspire professional cooks to take on greater risk to build a personal chef business for themselves. Now, here's your host, Andres Hinojosa.
Hey guys, how you guys doing again? This is Andres Hinojosa with the Chefpreneur podcast for another episode of the Chefpreneur podcast. And you know what? I wanted to just kind of talk to you guys in this episode to get you to see how I can truly motivate and inspire you, and just kind of give you a little glimpse of how I think that the industry is ripping you guys apart as line cooks and chefs out there. And I want to see if I could just give you an epiphany. I want to see if I can change a little bit of your mind today and kind of a little bit of a mindset shift. So I want to just kind of jump right into this. First of all, I want to thank you guys for listening to my first podcast, the introduction podcast. I really appreciate all the support you guys have given me. It's been amazing to see. And again, we're just excited to continue this and really get as many chefs listening to this podcast and cooks as possible. So I'm just going to dive right in. So with mindset, what I mean by that is a lot of us chefs and cooks, we feel that we're trapped. We feel like we're in a culinary matrix, as I like to call it. And I kind of mentioned on the last podcast, but I want to kind of elaborate further on that. I think that just like in the movie The Matrix, you know, there's these two worlds. There's this world that everybody's kind of walking around in. They think that it's the reality. And then there's kind of another side of it. And there's this other side of what reality is. And my reality in what I do now with my own business is very different than a lot of chefs' reality. And I know that a lot of chefs and cooks out there are in what they think is reality, which is, and I understand that there's a reality of you have bills to pay, you have things to do, and I get all that, okay? That's not going to change. But what is going to change is I truly believe you have a choice to plan and figure out and change your own destiny and future. And what I mean by that is that I see some of these lead cooks and sous chefs specifically that are out there in the industry that are working tirelessly for the restaurant that they're working in or the hotel or the organization that they're in, and they don't really get a lot of credit. They're kind of feeling like they're in this dark kitchen where they get no credit, they get no recognition, they're not in the spotlight. And, you know, I think there was a chef one time that quoted, I'm quoting a chef, but they were saying that some of his great cooks don't make good chefs because they can't manage people. And actually, I got that quote from recently. I was speaking to Alan, which is a chef that lives here in San Diego. He was a cook for me at one point in a hotel I worked at, and we were discussing that. When he said that to me, it really struck me. It struck me because I started thinking to myself, that is so true. There's a lot of cooks out there that are amazing at what they do. They deliver an amazing product, but they feel like they can never manage, or they feel like they don't want that responsibility. And what's sad about that is that these are the craftsmen that are actually producing the product that you see a lot of times in restaurants, in hotels, in these organizations. They're the ones that are behind the scenes making it all happen. And meanwhile, they're not getting any recognition for it. And I started thinking to myself, you know, you do have the opportunity, you have the choice to change your future. You have the opportunity and choice to make more money. And because the skills that you possess as a cook, as a chef, the actual skills and passion that you possess, somebody wants in the marketplace. Somebody wants the skills and the passion that you have and that you possess. They want that. And it's funny because the only way that customers can get it is through translating it through some corporate entity, a hotel, a restaurant, a corporate dining scene, whatever the case might be, right? And you're not really able to deliver your skills and passion and product directly to the consumer. And it's funny because in these last 4 years that I've been in business, I've seen firsthand how clients really, really, really crave great experiences, and they crave the skills and passion I possessed personally. And it started to open my eyes to a whole nother world. And I feel like, again, going back to the culinary matrix, I feel like we're living in this culinary matrix that us chefs and cooks feel like there's only a certain way to do it. And that's the only way. That if I just work harder, I'll get to be the chef de cuisine one day. I'll get to be the executive chef one day. I'll get to be the restaurant owner one day, right? And of course, anybody, I guess, can start their own restaurant. But if you can't manage or lead a team, you're going to have some troubles in your own business, correct? So as I started thinking about this more and more, I started to find out, how can I allow myself to be used as a vessel to be on this mountaintop, speaking to everyone, speaking to all you line cooks and chefs out there about how you actually have the opportunity to take things into your own hands. So I wanted to give you an example today, and I want to get him on the podcast actually coming up, but there's a gentleman by the name of, his name is Chef Alexander. He lives here in Tijuana, Mexico. I'm right here. I'm located in San Diego, right across the border. And I've been kind of mentoring him a little bit since day one in regards to starting his own business, being a personal chef, and kind of taking his future and putting it back into his own hands. And, there was a client that reached out to me that was from Los Angeles that recently, reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you have any chefs, or do you have the ability to go down to Tijuana?" And of course I do. I personally live very close to the border, so it wouldn't have been too big of a drive for me to go and serve these people. But I started thinking, so I want to give myself, I want to put myself in a position to give an opportunity to someone that I've been coaching and really mentoring through the process. And so the story goes that, of course, this client came to us and he was looking for a private dinner for his birthday, or for his girlfriend's birthday, I should say. And he was like, I want, good Mexican food, but if they want to put their own twist on it, they want to refine it a little bit. I said, perfect. I got just the guy for you. So I said, I have Chef Alexander here. I started being kind of the middleman. I was the liaison. I was doing a lot of the communication with the client. And here's Chef Alexander, and I call him, and he's like super excited about it. He was like, "Man, Chef, I thank you so much for this opportunity." I'm like, "No, thank you. I know you're going to kill it. I know you're going to do a great job." And I told him, "But I want to tell you one thing, and I know that it's going to come true, and you could tell me that I'm right at the end of the event when you kind of serve these people." And he says, "What is that?" And I said, "Well, I want you to know that once you get a taste of this, you'll never go back. You'll never go back to wanting to be a slave in some job, as another number, as another body, as another whatever you want to call yourself, just living in the matrix like a zombie, living in the matrix of what the culinary industry is now today." And as he started to, chuckle a little bit, and he's like, "Okay, Chef, all right, right?" So anyway, long story short, he presented a menu, and I sent the menu off to the client. The client loved it. There was a couple of modifications just on, different, I guess you'd say food preferences and so forth. But when the menu was finally done, it was all Chef Alexander's food, and it was great. So the week comes that he's about ready to serve them, and it's midweek, and this event was going to be on a Saturday. And he's talking to me, and he calls me on Facebook, like a Facebook Live, and he's in the marketplace in Tijuana, and he's like looking at all the Mexican plates and dishes, and he's going all out. And I'm thinking to myself, "Chef, you're spending a lot of money here, man. Are you okay with this?" He's like, "Chef, I just want to give them the best experience. Like, I am so pumped up about this. Like, you have no idea. Like, thank you so much again for this opportunity." And I'm like, "Well, I know you're not going to let not only me down, because of course we were putting it through my business." And he says, "I'm not going to let you down, Chef. I'm not going to let you down. Like, trust me." I said, "Dude, I know you're not going to let me down. This is the reason I don't just, a client calls me from my website, from my business. I'm not going to just trust anybody, right?" So he's looking at plates, and he's looking at different things, and he's just getting so amped up. And I just loved seeing his passion come out. Now, I know that you guys are all out there and you're saying, "Well, Chef, I had that same passion. I had that same tenacity to give clients the best possible product." And I'm thinking to myself, you do, but they don't know that. They don't know that. How many restaurants and hotels and corporations out there use the best product? Try to create the best experience. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there's 3-star Michelin restaurants. There's 5-star, Forbes listed restaurants all over the United States. There's tons of great restaurants and great chefs. And I'm not putting any of those out. I'm just saying that for the most part, I would say that hotels, restaurants, corporate entities that are out there are not using the best product. And they're not using the chefs, the cooks, and all the talents combined behind the scenes. They're not gathering the passion and the skills that are possessed behind the line and putting them in front of the customer. You might have specials here and there, you might have different things, but you don't really have them utilizing the staff to their fullest potential, right? So here's Chef Alexander. He's going through and he's like, I want to find the best ingredients. I'm going to go, the day of to the fish market. I'm going to buy the best fish, like the freshest fish possible. And I want to give them like the best service they've ever had, right? And as I've been hanging up, he called me several times throughout the week and I was like, man, this guy is really amped up. And I loved to see that. Right. And I just can feel the enthusiasm. So time goes on, next couple of days, he's asking me questions like, Chef, what can I give them? What can I give, this lady's name was Rachel. What can I give Rachel for her birthday? That's going to maybe wow her. Like I was thinking maybe all these sets of dishes I bought, I'm going to give it to her as a birthday gift. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, that's a lot of money you just spent on that. You spent over $100 on plates and you're going to give them to her as a birthday gift. Now, just to kind of make a little caveat and make a little side story here, if you're really trying to impress somebody with a great level or amount of service, it's actually not how big you go in the spending of the money. It's how much thought you put into it, right? So in my business, we do these little really simple thank you cards that I give to each client and at the end of a service. And I just write a little thank you to them and thank you for allowing us to serve you. And it means so much to them, right? There's no gift card in it. There's no strings attached. I'm not looking for something in return. But it gives them something like a little memory, a little token of my appreciation, and a little memory for them to take home and remember the experience. And it makes for just an amazing end of the night or end of the service or event that I've done. So I tell Chef Alexander, man, I think that might be a little too overboard. Not to say that I wouldn't like to get a whole full set of amazing handcrafted Mexican plates, but I think it might be a little over the top. I said, what if we do this? Here's an idea for you. And so I wanted to coach him on kind of getting to see what I was talking about. And I said, why don't you get her like a really beautiful plate that just maybe has like Happy Birthday Rachel on it, maybe write 2018 or something like that. Or get her one plate, get her one piece that would be like a little showpiece in her house that she could take home and, bring back up to LA and have like this memoir of her birthday weekend that she spent in Mexico with a personal chef and the whole experience. And he says, man, I love that idea. I love that idea. So he went back to the market. And unfortunately, it was kind of a little too late to get something handmade and hand painted with her name and everything on it. But he got her this beautiful Mexican plate that he gave to her as a gift. And so, I was doing another event that night. So here I was at my event and dealing with my clients, and it was such a good time. And I'm actually cooking for them again tonight. I know that this podcast won't be aired till later, but I'm cooking for them tonight. And when I get out of my event, I just have this voicemail left on Facebook Messenger. And it just literally sounds like Chef Alexander's like gonna tear up. And I'm thinking to myself like, wow, this is incredible. This is incredible. And you know what? I actually wanna play it for you. And I know that sounds a little weird, but I want you guys to just hear the excitement. I hope that he doesn't mind, that I'm gonna play this. But I really want, this to be a token of just kind of encouraging all of you guys out there to understand that it's possible to put things into your own hands. It's possible to put future in your own hands. And it's just incredible. So here it is.
How's it going, Chef? Well, yeah. Just wanted to let you know that everything went smoothly. They were amazed with the food. They really loved me. And yeah, everything went out great. Tired, but I can't explain how happy I am, man. Thanks for these opportunities, Chef. Thank you so much, Andres. And yeah, hope to hear from you soon. Have a great evening, Chef. Have a good dinner.
So I heard that, And I thought to myself, wow, this guy's life just got impacted. So the story even gets better. As I talk to him, of course, I get on the phone, and he's in Tijuana, and he's just telling me he's sitting down eating tacos because he was hungry, and which there's the best tacos in Tijuana, like in the whole world, right? That's like the best place to eat. And I'm like, man, I'm jealous of you right now. I wish I was next to you eating some tacos. And he's telling me how amazing it was, and that they tipped him $150 or $60, something like that. And I was already paying him $400, and I'm okay with saying that, out in the open. But here's this guy who made $560 in one night, who's used to getting paid. I don't even know what he gets paid, but he's a line cook. He's not some sous chef. He's not some executive chef. And he just said that they loved the food, that everything went so amazing, that they were so grateful for this plate that he gave her, and they just couldn't stop raving about it, right? So, man, it just hit me right in my heart to know that, like, and I said, so was I right at the end of it? At the end of the event, I said, was I right? And he says, right about what? And I said, right about what I told you. Do you want to go back? And he goes, man, I know what you mean now. I got a taste of it. Like, I don't ever want to go back. I don't want to go back to being some number. Now, of course, he's still working at the job he works at to this day right now. And this was only a few weeks ago. So, he needs to pay his bills. But at the same time, he was like, I got to find more of these. And I said, I'm going to help you find more of these. I said, but didn't it feel so good? He says, man, it felt amazing. So the story doesn't end there. I actually ended up contacting the client, of course, and just was following up with him. Hey, how did Chef Alexander do? He told me that he has, you guys had a great evening. How was everything? This guy sent me an email saying, I don't even have words to explain how amazing the evening was. The whole experience from start to finish has been amazing. The experience I had with you through emails, through your communication, through the way that you were just, so willing to just help us out. And there was a couple, allergies and a couple, food preferences. And you didn't even make us feel like there was something, crazy special that you had to just, that was going to ruin the entire menu and all that good stuff. He's like, everything from the beginning to the end was incredible. And he says, whatever you're paying Chef Alexander, he deserves double. Whatever you did, however, you're training him, keep doing it, because this guy was incredible. And he says, in fact, I want to know where I can leave this guy reviews. You tell me where I can leave a review. I want to leave 2, 3, as many reviews as I can. And that just really warmed my heart. I mean, it really got me amped up to know that in all these years that I've had my own business, these last 4+ years as a personal chef, I now have the ability that I've learned through trial and error. I've learned through all the mistakes. I've learned through my experiences. And at the very beginning, when I first started my business, it was my mind. It was my mind that was literally holding me back. It was my thought patterns. It was my thought process. It was the way I saw myself. I saw myself that maybe I wasn't experienced enough. I felt like, well, I don't know if, I'm a pretty outgoing guy already as it is, but I was like, I don't know. Like I see some of these, super elite people or I see kind of all these people that have money and stuff like that. And I don't know if I could cut the mustard. I don't know if I can, if I could cook good enough for these people. But what I found out was that they're looking for more than just your skills of cooking. They're looking for your passion. They're looking for you to put your heart and soul in everything that you do. And it's funny because at a restaurant, they would have paid less than the experience they paid for. But to them, it was completely above and beyond worth it to them because it was completely no holds bar. Chef Alexander didn't have some company or hotel or restaurant holding him down. He was able to deliver his skills and passion and deliver his heart on a plate directly to the source. There was no middleman. The restaurants, hotels, and corporate entities are all middlemen for your experience, for your skills, for your passion. And the only thing that's holding you back is your mind. You're not seeing the other side of the matrix. You're living in this bubble that you think that you have to go through life in the norm, in the just what everybody else is doing. I've been tapping into a lot of these chef, Facebook groups lately, and all I see is depression and emotional distress. And I see people that are just beat up. I see people that are numbed down. And you know what they say? Oh, but it's part of the business. Oh, it's part of the business. It's not. It's not. It's part of that world. It's part of that part of the matrix, but it's not part of my matrix, not part of my world that I live in right now. I get compensated for my passion and my skills. I get what I deserve. I get fulfilled. I get to do the food I want to do. I get to bring the clients the product I want to bring them. I get to give them the best experience no matter what, without budgets. And that's what I really wanted to get the message across today with all of you out there, is that you have to shift your mind and understanding. I'm going to help you shift your mind. If it's going to take me turning blue in the face, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to just change your mind, transform your mind and how you think, to cross over into the other part of the matrix, to cross over into a whole different world that you might not even know exists. And I want to help you find that world. I want to help you be in that mindset, because I am sick and tired of seeing you guys living every single day for some entity, being a number, being another body, being somewhere that your passion and your skills are being wasted and being sidelined. In my world, that doesn't happen. In my world, we get compensated. We get compensated for everything that we do. Every little touch that I give, every detail that I give the client is compensated. And I'm not just talking about with just money, guys. I'm talking about with fulfillment. You heard it in Chef Alexander's voice in that message. He was beside himself. And then when I called him again the next day and told him about the email the client sent me about how he wants to leave him reviews, he says, man, I thought the tip and I thought the hugs and everything I had after the service was like already putting me over the edge. And then you're telling me he's going to go shout it out from a mountaintop that I'm this great chef, that he had this great experience. You know what? In Chef Alexander's world, wherever he's working, at the place he's working, and I won't mention the name of the restaurant, but at the restaurant he's working, he's not the superstar. He's not in the spotlight. He's not the guy that's on, the menu, the name on the menu. But when he was in that moment, in that night, serving Rachel and her boyfriend, and they were experiencing his cuisine, his flavor, his passion, his skills, his creativity, his heart, it was his name on the menu. It was all him. Nobody else could take credit for it. And he was there to serve them, and he had a heart to serve, and he brought it to them, and he says, you know what? This is Chef Alexander's food. I wanted to do this for you. I went and found you the best dried chilies. I went and got you these amazing handmade Mexican place to serve the food on. I wanted to make sure Rachel had the best experience. Now, you can't tell me on a client's point of view that's far superior to any restaurant you're going to go to. Far superior. And I know there's some great restaurants out there. I know that these 3-star Michelin restaurants have amazing service, but I tell you what, guys, nothing can match the true authenticity of a chef putting his heart and soul on a plate in front of a client and having the client experience that. And then the fulfillment it gives you as a chef to get rewarded for it is incredible. And so I wanted to share that story with you guys because I want you guys to change your mentality. I want you guys to shift into a different gear. I want you guys to see that you have a choice to change your future. You have a choice to make more money. You have a choice to be more happy. You have a choice to be more fulfilled. And you have a choice to do the things that you want to do, that God put inside your heart to do on this earth, and serve people to the capacity that you know how, that you know best, that you want to do, and get rewarded for it, guys. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in today and just listening to this podcast, listening to me just pour and share my heart and what I wanted to share with you guys today. Again, I hope I inspired you. I hope you continue to listen to this podcast, and I hope that whoever's listening out there, it really is resonating with you. So I'm signing off. This is Andres Hinojosa. Again, if you want to have more information on how to take your future, put it in your own hands, I want you guys to go ahead, and in the link, I have a free ebook that I'm going to be giving away, and it's called the Chefpreneur ebook, and it's literally a great book. It's about 25 pages, and I overview of how to start your own personal chef business. I hope you guys download this free resource because I really think it's going to take you on your first step in your journey of putting the culinary industry back into your hands, putting the future in your hands, and giving you the choice and the opportunity to make more money, be more fulfilled, be more happy. So I hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to speak to you guys next week on next week's podcast. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Chefpreneur podcast, where we want to educate, motivate, and inspire as many chefs to become their own boss. Please subscribe to the podcast and join us every week to be part of the movement. To sign up for our free online training, visit becomeachefpreneur.com.